The news on television says we are headed for economic recovery. I am not sure I agree.
Quite the opposite. We are headed toward the largest economic crash the United States has ever seen.
I have been feeling something is wrong for a long time, but I have not been able to put my finger on just what it is. Can you explain it to me, please?
I will try. The story more or less begins in the year 1933 when Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared the United States bankrupt and dissolved the government to replace it with a socialist dictatorship run by the international banking cartel led by the Rothschilds. He sold it to the American public as the New Deal.
Yes, I remember hearing about that, but they taught me a much different version of it when I was growing up in school.
Most of what Americans are taught in schools is doctored truth at best. So in 1933 the central bank was created along with the Federal Reserve, a private corporation which is neither federal nor has any reserves.
Right. They print Federal Reserve notes and call it money while lending it to us with interest when in fact they are debt instruments which can only be discharged and not paid. They are a privately held corporation and owned by the same international banking cartel run by the Rothschilds. Their entire money system is one big fraud.
Exactly. So in 1933 those notes were actually tied in value to actual silver and gold which were held in reserve in locations like Fort Knox and were redeemable at any time for their face value in silver or gold. Now fast forward to the year 1965 when Lyndon B. Johnson signed into law the Coinage Act of 1965 which no longer required Federal Reserve notes to be backed by their equivalent in silver or gold.
This is what created inflation, because now they could print more money than the reserves could collateralize, by way of selling promissory notes with interest called treasury bills.
You seem to know much of this already. Up until this point the coins in circulation were made of 90% silver. Once this act was signed the silver content went way down and was replaced by other less costly alloys. Today our coins carry barely any silver at all.
Is this why everyone is rushing to get pre-65 coins right now?
Correct. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Since the year 1965 the national debt has increased due to the interest it must pay on the Federal Reserve notes it has borrowed from the Federal Reserve. Each time the government performs a new bailout, it borrows more money by selling treasury bills to foreign nations, incurring more debt. Today the United States is almost the leading debtor in the world, owing almost $13 trillion, and to many nations the U.S. is the greatest debtor.
The U.S. is indebted quite a bit to China, so I hear.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. We have just now heard from Ben Bernanke that Hong Kong is dumping the dollar and is the canary in the coal mine. We see similar activity in Russia and China, and it seems clear that soon the US dollar will be removed from world reserve currency status.
What does it mean?
What it means is that no one in the world will need to buy dollars first in order to buy oil. It also means that most countries will stop buying United States Treasury bills.
I'm not sure I understand all that. When do you think this might take place?
In simple terms, the dollar will drop significantly in value relative to other world currencies, in one big jump very quickly. It has been rumored that this event is set to take place officially on May 4 of this year.
Wow. So what does that mean for me?
It means you better get ready for things to get completely crazy. Imagine gas goes to $50 a gallon or more, then truckers stop delivering, and no more food in stores. Looting, riots and civil unrest everywhere. In this scenario martial law is likely to be declared quickly.
It sounds like the city may not be the best place to be.
No, I suggest making a getaway plan to get out of urban areas before this event occurs. Have a team of others there to take turns on watch and be prepared to camp there for a while. Things in cities are likely to get very dangerous.
I imagined I'll want plenty of food, medical supplies, guns, ammunition, and my silver coins.
You might also want to have colloidal silver and stabilized aldous supplies. There are lots of lab viruses going around. It might also be a good idea to have seeds to be able to grow your own food.
So if the dollar is no longer going to be the world reserve currency, what will the new world reserve currency be?
According to a recent Financial Times article, it will be the Chinese yuan.
That sucks. Isn't there anything we can do to stop this from happening?
Only if each state quickly adopted legislation similar to the proposed Utah Sound Money Act written by Larry Hilton and repealed the Coinage Act of 1965. This would all need to happen before the dollar was dropped as world reserve currency.
Things don't look good.
No, America is in deep, deep trouble. The debt bubble is bursting.
It seems like this was planned.
Of course it was all planned. Those who created the central bank in the first place did so after the United States declared bankruptcy and have been enslaving us further ever since.
So what is the collateral on all these trillions in debt?
You are. I am. And all your property, your house, everything that you think you own. You don't own it. You bought it all with Federal Reserve notes, which are debt instruments. Your birth certificate is your stock certificate, traded on the stock exchange, for you as a corporate asset. Your entire person is nothing but an object, an asset owned by a corporate entity.
No way.
Yes way.
This sucks.
I know.
How do I preserve my wealth if all my dollars are soon going to be worth nothing?
Take what dollars you have and buy pre-1965 silver coins. The value of silver is only going to increase as the dollar collapses, and owning physical precious metals is the only way to secure wealth through economic upheaval. Cash in your stocks, your IRA, your pension, everything you possibly can, and convert them all to physical silver or gold which you yourself can directly possess. Guard your precious metals in safe, hidden locations. Don't forget that fresh rumors are that COMEX in London has run out of commercial silver and is no longer fulfilling orders. If true, this will have drastic effects on demand worldwide, which will increase the price of silver considerably.
Great. There is a rare coin dealer near me that sells at the current spot value. So what again about lab viruses?
Don't take any flu shots or any other shots. They all contain poisons designed to lower your immune system and cause other bad reactions. None of it works against any flu. All of these flus are bioweapons out of pathology labs like Fort Detrick. They all change too quickly for any vaccine, plus they contain the 1918 Spanish flu genetics.
What about regular flu?
There is no more regular flu. It all has been crowded out by this thing they call swine flu, which is a bioweapon supervirus. Anyone who is sick now has one version or another of swine flu. A few of these versions are fatal.
There seem to be many layers to this puzzle. At the same time that all of this is happening, we also see conflicts in Korea, and Israel cannot wait to attack Iran, and could do so at any minute. Either of these could easily go nuclear, starting World War III.
I do not believe in coincidences. To me, these events are all converging at one time by a clever and meticulous design. Much of this was brainstormed in the year 1871 by General Albert Pike, North American Grand Commander of Freemasonry. It is a giant culling of the human herd designed to bring about a one-world government. I have heard in some circles that Satanists refer to this planned convergence of catastrophic events as the ceremony of the Phoenix.
How does Satanism figure into this?
To research on someone named Michael Aquino, the high priest of a satanic group called the Temple of Set, and understand that he is now the highest-ranking member of the NSA, known as an NSA general, and together with retired Army General Albert Stubblebin and retired Colonel Jean B. Alexander controls a company called SiteCheck, which owns the Smirnoff patent among many others for mass mind control purposes.
I have heard many things about Aquino. He has been accused of many child rapes and murders, but his security clearance has always gotten him off. If he is the head of the NSA, then we all have a lot to be very concerned about.
For more information on all these topics and more, just log on to labvirus.com. While there, be sure to view the documentary called Monarch, the new Phoenix program. It will blow your mind.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled
was to convince the world he didn't exist.